Once the word design is mentioned, I literally can't stop talking. I am absolutely overwhelmed by the talent of designers we have in Melbourne, whether they're an architect, furniture designer, interior designer, or just a great artist. One story tends to lead to the next. So, welcome to the show. My name's Stephen Crafti, and this is Talking Design.
So when we started the Commons, the issue for us is that we've been working for developers and quite frustrated at the approach to the development model, which was one about financial returns only. It was the bottom line on the spreadsheet, which was the measure of successful development. So what we were looking at doing was, doing something different and instead building a triple bottom line development, a development that instead was judged by not only its financial returns, but also its social returns and its environmental returns. The approach for sustainability in this building was actually about building more, so more space, more ceiling height, more volume, and to be able to do that affordably, we needed to take things out. So it was an architecture of reductionism. So we started by taking out the basement car parking, saving $750,000 in basement construction for motor vehicles, and instead putting 72 bikes in and using that $750,000 to put solar panels on the roof, solar hot water on the roof, big timber double glazed sliding doors which give us fantastic thermal response. This was the first development in Australia actually, which was predominantly 2 bedrooms and 0 cars. So this is a zero carbon car development, aimed to be a zero carbon development. But essentially the idea here is that the green transport plan is intrinsic to the way that the building runs. So if you're living in this building, you can get straight on the upfield rail corridor next door, so straight on the train at Anstey Station. You can walk 100 metres up the road and get on the number 19 tram and go straight into the city. The upfield bike path is directly next to this building, so you can ride straight out of the bike parking into onto the bike path. So there's lots and lots of options for walking or public transport here. Our decks, aren't places just to put your air conditioning condenser. This building has no air conditioners, so our decks are actually spacious enough to go out onto and to have a barbecue or to sit out on. The decks are also designed on the north side of the building to be just far enough to shade the building in summer, but let the winter sun in. So the north facade of the building is covered in, or it has a series of shipping chains running up the entire height of the building. And there's 24 deep planter boxes which are planted into the facade, which hold 24 wisterias. So in summer, the entire building gets covered in a green wisteria, and in winter, it loses its leaves and all the sun sort of pours into the apartments. We designed the apartment interior the way that we would do a house or the way that we'd approach a restaurant. And it's come through into each of the apartments, and it's also fitted in with that mantra of, if you don't need it, don't put it in. So this constant sort of stripping back of what's unnecessary. All of the services are exposed in here. So what we get is these beautiful sort of concrete soffit ceilings, and they're strip form ceilings, so you can see the footprints of the form workers in them. At the same time that they were pouring concrete for the upper levels, they were then pouring the concrete for the bench tops. So all the bench tops are poured in situ. All the joinery is form ply. So form ply is the same product that was used to form up the formwork for the slabs. And mild steel splashbacks rather than tiled splashbacks. So look, some of my favourite cities in the world, European cities, or even Asian cities like Hong Kong, they're incredibly honest. So if you go to Venice, the main part of Venice where the ocean liner stops and all of the tourists spill out, it's all incredibly curated. But as soon as you walk into the back streets of Venice, you start to find that between the buildings there's clotheslines with people stringing their clothes between it, and it's beautiful. You walk down the streets of Barcelona and people are up on level 3 or level 4 of their apartments hanging their clothes or their shirts out on the balconies, and while they're there, they're talking to each other, across between buildings above you as you're walking in the streets below. So there's this connection between people just doing day-to-day things. You know, if you go to an Italian village where everyone knows each other, you know, people are growing food, you know, out in the street or in their garden plots in the vacant lots of land next to their houses, you know. And here at the Commons, you know, we do that on the roof. So the gardening committee met, you know, last night, and they talk about, you know, what seedlings they're going to plant. People go up on the roof and work together. In this building, you know, we share a laundry. So on Saturday and Sunday, we all, you know, run into each other. We all hang our clothes out. It is kind of kooky that, you know, all the clothes are blowing in the wind, but we get to know everyone. So it's this really good thing. So it does feel incredibly safe here.